Notice how you always will perform better when other people are watching you. The top performers of the world, Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, they do not need external accountability. How do we recreate that when we're by ourselves? You don't need to always put skin in the game. You don't need to always make public declarations. External accountability system to just accomplish what they want to accomplish. They have the internal accountability and they have a proactivity about them that allows them to accomplish what they want to accomplish. When you set up that external accountability, you always perform at a better level, but that is not good enough. Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, these people did not need an external accountability system. What we talked about in the last video is how to set up that external accountability system. But the true top performers do not need it. You don't need to always put skin in the game. You don't need to always make public declarations. All that stuff we talked about in the last video is great. But in this video, we're gonna take that last video and flip it right on its head, because the top performers of the world do not need that. They're not reacting to this external accountability system to just accomplish what they want to accomplish. They have the internal accountability and they have a proactivity about them that allows them to accomplish what they want to accomplish. So it's not coming from defense based on the last video that we perform at a higher level when we have eyeballs on us, when we have pressure on us, when we put skin in the game, when we've set up ruthless accountability by setting up external accountability, meaning other people are holding us accountable. We know we perform at a higher level with that than we do alone. When you're alone, is we want to close the gap with those two things. Now we want to perform while we're alone at the same level as if we have all the external accountability. How do we recreate that when we're by ourselves? That's a very difficult thing to do. It's almost impossible. Notice how you always will perform better when other people are watching you. If you haven't seen that last video, watch that before you watch this one. When you set up that external accountability, you always perform at a better level, but that is not good enough. The top performers of the world, the people I just outlined, they do not need external accountability. They hold themselves internally accountable, and they can perform at that same level when they're by themselves, at the same level as if they have all the external accountability around them. And there are two shifts that need to happen. The first shift is that we need to activate our winner effect. And when we activate our winner effect, our dopamine's higher, the wins come to us more effortlessly, and we begin to resonate with action taking. The second shift that needs to happen is a private vow with yourself. That's a self-dialogue that needs to happen. And we're gonna dive into those two different aspects of shifting into internal accountability right here in this video. So stay tuned. The first thing we must do is we must jumpstart our winner effect, like a lawnmower. We gotta get ourselves winning. Even if the winning is small, just get some momentum with winning. Once you win, you'll keep winning because winning carries a momentum to it. And that momentum is extremely, extremely important. That's at the core of your winner effect. And once you have that momentum going, you will fundamentally shift as a person. What does that actually look like? That means that your brain chemistry shifts and your body chemistry shifts. Your brain chemistry shifts because when you win, you actually secrete dopamine. You'll produce more dopamine receptors. You're attaching your dopamine to the challenge of the process of getting those wins, and you'll attach your dopamine to the results as well. That feels really, really good. That's a reward system. The same reward system that's used for your survival mechanisms with mating, with food, with other aspects of survival. It's a primitive reward system. The next thing that shifts is your body chemistry. When you win, your testosterone goes up. You get a testosterone boost. And when you get a testosterone boost, to quote Andrew Huberman, testosterone makes effort feel good. So you'll actually want to take on challenges. Pushing yourself into your edge will begin to feel like a positive thing. It won't feel stressful. It'll feel good. And when that's happening, you're entering into states of eustress, not distress. Euphoric stress, not distress. And when this happens, you go into an upward spiral, fundamentally shifts your identity as a person. As you get positive reinforcement for getting results, maybe you get validation, maybe you get fame, maybe you get notoriety, maybe you get money, maybe it just feels good to win. But as you get that positive reinforcement, your winner effect will begin to grow and grow and grow. Logs keep getting thrown onto the fire and the fire expands, and that creates a shift in your identity. And when your identity is shifted to that of an individual who is a winner, a clear-cut winner, and you have definitive proof, you've given your brain proof, not promises, that you can actually produce results, then it's easier to hold yourself accountable internally because you naturally resonate with taking action. But maybe that isn't you quite yet. Maybe you're an individual starting in a lower place who self-sabotages. Maybe you're just not in momentum. Things going against you, working against you. And if that's the case, then you don't really need to be focused on shifting from defense to offense, shifting from desperation to inspiration. Right now, your brain chemistry feels like it's really working against you. It's okay to force action taking by setting up external accountability. Later, you won't resonate as much with force. You'll resonate with power, and you'll resonate with flow state. It's like a rocket ship, and when the rocket launches, it has to break through the atmosphere, and it's very difficult. It's using a lot of force. But once it's broken through the atmosphere and it's out in space, it just floats along effortlessly. And that also can be you. Let's talk about some things we can actually do to kind of practically jumpstart that winner effect. First thing we tend to do is we only want to validate ourselves or feel good about ourselves or give ourselves positive reinforcement when we accomplish our goals. The problem is oftentimes we keep kicking the can down the road because our goals are in often some distant future and it takes a long time to actually get there. And we're tying our dopamine, our winner effect, to that result. So what we should do, rather than only feeling validation, only feeling good when we accomplish this grand goal in a distant future, we should baby step it. Rather than feeling good in the future, if you did the work you needed to do for your long-term goals, you self-validate. You allow yourself to feel good. If you took action today, you allow yourself to feel good. Now the key is this. It's not just, was it 10 out of 10 day? Don't tell yourself it's a 10 out of 10 day. Tell yourself it's a 1,000 out of 10 day. A rational exuberance. You don't have to be rational with it, but if you did the actions you needed to do today, give yourself full permission, full confidence, give yourself full validation. You want to think about the inputs that lead to the outputs. The outputs are going to be what they're going to be. The best outcomes are the best inputs. So the next thing we can do is we can gamify our work and gamify our craft. When our actions feel playful, when they feel fun, our winner effect will naturally raise because we're enjoying the process itself. Find ways to make your work more like play. You don't need to set up a gazillion accountability systems because you naturally want things. You naturally begin to resonate with action and it naturally becomes enjoyable. And that's the key. When it feels enjoyable, when the challenge feels good, when that's what you begin to resonate with it, when your cup runneth over with good energy and good emotion and positive emotion, when you feel that feeling in your body, when you're taking action, well, naturally you're gonna wanna hold yourself accountable. And you won't even really need too much external accountability at all because you just naturally want things out of life. Internal accountability becomes the default.
At the end of the day, your results are always on you and you must take extreme ownership of that. So if in the dark recesses of your brain, deep down inside, you don't really want what you're going after, then it makes it very difficult to hold yourself accountable to that. I remember my buddy Lucas and my buddy Cutler, we had this accountability system where we'd do a call with each other every single week. Every Sunday, we go over our schedule, our goals, all this stuff. And at a certain point, we stopped doing it. But I was able to keep the cadence of checking in with myself every single Sunday. Sunday is my day to schedule my week. And it kind of is a way for me to hold myself accountable and my habits. I've been doing this for years. What you can do, the first strategy to shift into internal accountability is first actually set up external accountability like we talked about in the first video. But then once you forego that external accountability, once you don't need it anymore, ride the momentum of that external accountability, but do it for you. My old mentor, Dan Pena, used to have people fill out a weekly report and a monthly report. That mentor is gonna hold you accountable. You're gonna send that weekly report to him to keep the momentum going. So that's the first strategy, is from that external accountability. When you move into internal accountability, this does not mean that you forego and delete all forms of external accountability, but it's like Russian dolls. These paradigms get integrated into one another. The way you look at it is like, it's like the iceberg analogy. The majority of the iceberg is underwater, and there's a little bit of ice that's stuck outside of the water. So what you have to think about is internal accountability is at your core. That is the iceberg. That's the biggest chunk of the ice that's under the water. And that little bit of external accountability, you tack that on it as the iceberg that's sticking up over the water. But at your very core, you must resonate with those results and hold yourself accountable. The first strategy that we already talked about was that you have to keep the momentum going. To shift into an internal accountability, you first have to have external accountability, whether you don't have that public accountability anymore or you don't have that call with your buddies holding you accountable or whatever else it is. You wean yourself off of that, and then once you've weaned yourself off of that, you keep that momentum going by yourself. That way the habit has been developed. So that's strategy number one. Number two is that individuals constantly bombarded by the minds of other people. Their thoughts become our thoughts. You must go into isolation. You have to begin to discern when you're in isolation, whether that's you go off into a forest or maybe you do a Vipassana meditation retreat where you're meditating all day for like 10 days. You have to discern what is real from what is fake. You have to separate the wheat from the chaff. You don't even know what that is because you're watching a gazillion videos on YouTube, all this advice from mentors, you're getting advice from your family, your friends, your parents, school, teachers, guidance counselors, and all of this is messing with your head. Be alone. And once you're alone, you can begin to figure out, you know what? This is what I want out of life. And I sign a deal that I'm getting this out of life. It's a deal you must sign with yourself in silence. That's the second part of being alone, is that you're just making that vow to yourself. This is what's authentic to me. I'm going after this. This is what's authentic to me. I'm going after this. This is what's authentic to me. I'm going after this. And when you do that, that is at the core of what holds you accountable. It's you is at the core of what holds you accountable, because it's something that you genuinely want. And it's something you've genuinely decided that you want while you're all alone. And when you come into this state of mind where you're alone and you have that clarity of thought, that clarity of vision, accountability arises naturally. It's the best feeling in the world to be in this kind of proactive state where you don't need to set up a gazillion accountability systems because your mind is resonating with the right steps. Your mind doesn't even need to have those anymore because you naturally want things out of life. When you get into that state of mind, it's a beautiful feeling. So the big strategy, as we said, is to spend that time alone. And there are two things that you're gonna wanna get out of spending time alone. The first thing is you wanna separate what is real from what is fake. You must filter out what is real to you, what do you authentically want, versus what is not really what you authentically want. And you can only do that by being alone, by removing the constant bombardment of other people's influence and other people's conditioning into your mind. You have to remove the parasite of their minds from your own mind. And when you do this and you're alone, you can say, okay, this is real and this has been fake. It's very difficult to this because we often don't spend time alone meditating all day, every day for 10 days. Or we often don't do our own version of like a vision quest where you go off into the woods and spend time in a cabin and do nothing but sit with our own thoughts. Our own thoughts are what's most important. We're constantly bombarded with the next YouTube video, the next mentor, the next coach, our parents, our friends, our peers, our guidance counselors, teachers, school, and all of this is having an influence on what you want out of life. But when we authentically know what we want, that's the first step. Be alone and authentically discern what it is you want. You have clarity on your goals and clarity on your vision. That is when you must sign a deal with yourself. You make a vow to yourself. And for the spiritual people, they make a vow to God that no matter what, come hell or high water, they are going to accomplish that. And you can sign a deal with yourself when you're alone. You're giving yourself permission to be yourself and giving other people permission to be themselves. You no longer feel as much of a bombardment of their influence coming onto your mind. And that shifts you into a defensive mode where you don't really have the courage to go after what you want. A decision is black and white. A decision is yes or no. And when the decision you made is yes, you have clarity and you will go after that. Now, this is the ultimate headspace of proactivity. It's the ultimate headspace of not needing an accountability system anymore, because in deep states of isolation, you have an inner yes that is moving you forward. It's also one of those things where it is the antithesis. It is the complete opposite of a victim mentality. Your results are now on you. You cannot be a victim. You can't say that your parents got in the way, your situation got in the way, anything else got in the way. It removes all the excuse making when you make that vow to yourself. Your results are on you, and you've decided that all alone by yourself. Obviously, there's many different steps and many different paradigms here. If you're in that headspace, as I said before, of an individual operating at that lower level in life, then set up that external accountability. The external accountability is very important. Or what got you from A to B will not get you from B to C. When we're moving from B to C, you want to slowly remove external accountability, get clear on what's real to you, get clear on what it is that you want, and shift your mindset into internal accountability. Jumpstart that winner effect so that action taking feels effortless to you, you naturally resonate with taking action and it feels good. And that's going to shift you into taking extreme ownership over your results. So that's what I'll leave you guys off with. And I'll see you guys in the next video.